Hey, another week, another SDR's journal. So let's get right into it. So for this past week, I think three key learnings. The first one I would say that's been quite interesting was I guess sending a connection. So each sequence, like people build out sequences in different ways. Some people tend to have like on the first day itself, or they'll call, email, LinkedIn. Some people have it where they'll send the email out first, and the next like day 2 and day 3, they'll send an email connection out, a LinkedIn connection out, or LinkedIn profile view out, and then they'll call. So what I've noticed recently, I've been trying where before I actually send my first touch email out, I'll send a LinkedIn connection. I'll throw a LinkedIn connection request across, and then so let's say my emails are going out at 5:30 in the evening. The morning of, I'll send that email connection request, or my emails are going out the morning, like the next morning, I'll send them out the night before. And what I've noticed with that is, and I'm still kind of trying this out, but if your LinkedIn profile is optimized where your headline, like your headline, your bio, and like your cover photo are optimized, a lot of times when you send someone a connection request, they look at your bio, they might be, or your headline, and they're a bit interested, they go click on it, they might click on your company, and then they might be start to already get a bit familiar with your name and your email, so your name and your company, so that when that first touch email goes out, they're already a bit more warmed up. And one of the SDRs internally, who was also my onboarding mentor, said this one phrase that I thought was really interesting, where he said, "Multi-touch mayhem." So I just kind of love that phrase, but kind of using all the channels to your advantage, just so like you're kind of going away from, like you're kind of going through the noise per se. That's what I've found to be. I'm starting to see it's a bit more effective, especially in a world where there's like crazy amount of SDRs doing a crazy amount of outreach. So yeah, sending that connection request maybe right before your first touch email. We're recommending me trying it out and seeing if it works any better. Yeah, because I've got a couple of email replies back where, for example, someone's like, "Hey, thanks for your email. I actually saw your LinkedIn connection request, and your company sounds really interesting. The service that you provide sounds really interesting. Let's connect, or let's set up some time to chat." So that's happened a couple of times. So something to look into. The second thing I'd say is at the end of like so normally how at least it works with us where we're working at Loopio is that we set up a discovery or like a qualification call per se, quick 15-minute sync. We just started learning a bit more about their process, the current process, so we can set up the demo well, and give the AE as much ammo as possible going in. What I've found is I had a couple of qualification calls where at the end of the call, when I would ask for next steps, I would be like, "Hey, when does it work for you to set up some time for a demo?" And I think twice it happened where the person told me like 2 months out from now. And I think we all know in sales that the further the demo is set up, the less likelihood of it occurring. Of course, at times there's like genuine things that the person cannot do the demo right now, but if you can book it earlier, that it always definitely helps. So what I've done is, I guess what I've been trying recently, and it's worked out much better, is anchoring for timing. By that I mean that for next steps, when like it makes sense that they're qualified and there's some pain there and we can go ahead and book the demo, I'd be like, "We'll love to show you a quick look at the platform. How does 2 p.m. tomorrow sound?" And then either they'll say no, maybe 1 p.m. sounds, or maybe the day after sounds better. But that way, at least you're anchoring for tomorrow or for the day after. And then it goes up and down. Like you may, instead of like it happening like 2 months from now, it may happen potentially the next week. So that's another thing that I've noticed is helping me out with kind of anchoring for those next steps. And then lastly, I'd say, and this is something that someone internally told me that was pretty impactful, I'd say, but having some sort of a brag sheet. And by a brag sheet, you can call it your win sheet or whatever you want to call it, but it's like where you write down stuff that you're proud of, that you've been able to do within your tenure. So maybe that's like taking up a small project internally. Maybe that's like you hit your quota in this month, or maybe it's like you booked, let's say, 4 demos in this specific week as such. But just having like small things that you can say, that you can write down your brag sheet. It could be something as simple as like, "Hey, on September 14th, I was not willing to cold call, but I still made those 20 dials." That could go in your brag sheet as well. So small, big things. I'm just kind of experimenting with it right now, but I find that at times when I'm feeling a bit more lower, and things aren't going according to plan, just going back to that brag sheet can kind of just like pump you back up and kind of just like show you your worth per se, I guess, which at times we tend to forget. That was a bit more self-development-y, the last one, but yeah, those are the 3 key lessons for this past week, and hope you enjoyed. Thanks.